Welcome back to Open House. Each week we're going to provide you with information on the real estate market, and I've been joined by the big fella Michael Brock on my right hand side. Welcome, Brocky.
I don't like the big fella, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry, mate. Big in personality. Greg, you got a question for Michael?
I certainly do. Michael, earlier this week we saw some reports in the paper about the state of the South Australian economy, I guess. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's been fantastic. I think against the mining boom that we think is certainly going to come into play with the Olympic Dam and so on, South Australia stood up really, really well, Greg. We've got a lot of demand coming from interstate and also from overseas. People are seeing that Australia, and particularly South Australia, is a really safe economy, and they are looking to invest money in South Australia. But also the confidence, I think, is here. We've had obviously a fairly rough last 12 months. But I think people in the upper end particularly are more confident with their job security and the way the company's going, and they're starting to really look for bigger properties.
It's exciting times really in South Australia, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and I think it'll continue for quite some time. But as I said, particularly the top end, there just seems to be a real built-up of fabulous demand.
Any inside scoops? Sorry, Mulch, any inside scoops on the top end of the market? Who's buying, who's selling?
Look, it's predominantly, there are some expats who are looking to come back from England and so on, but it's mainly South Australian buyers who are confident. We had a place recently, Clifton Manor up at Stonyfell, which sold for just under $4 million in about a couple of days.
Why did that sell so quickly, Brocky? Somebody else had it on the market for a while longer.
Obviously a fantastic agent. There was certainly a price adjustment as well,
right.
But it did go very quickly, and we had, I think, 12 people who inquired about it, and that's nice to know that there's a dozen or so people who've got $4 million or more to invest in South Australia to live in.
Is it still the top end really price sensitive? Do we have to get those prices spot on to move the properties? I noted in the advertiser there was a few of the nicer properties in real estate in South Australia on the market. How do you see that?
Yes, well, the Adelaide office, who basically we look after the eastern suburbs and so on, and we've got several properties at the moment, two in particular in the high twos and low $3 million price range. Both have got offers on them at the moment, and so we're hoping that they'll be going pretty quickly. So there's also a number of properties that are quietly on the market. People are just sort of choosing not to go public, but I think as spring moves ahead, they'll come onto the market, and it'll be very big profile.
And just you keep your question, keep thinking, Greg. I just got to get one in about the interest rates. You're very well connected. I know you keep in touch with a lot of people in the financial game. We're going to hear more from Will, but just from an overview of the top end, interest rates and first homeowners even moving right back to the very start of all this, where do you see it moving forward?
Well, up's the only way. We've been saying to clients for a long time now they should lock in, and if they'd taken that advice sort of 12, 18 months ago, they would have done very well. My personal belief is that there'll be another 0.25% rise on Melbourne Cup Day.
That'll be good.
But I think they may leave December alone, because that's very important for retail shopping in the lead up to Christmas. But then again, I think probably early in next year there'll be another couple of moves as well. So, but it's still historically very, very low.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people overlook the fact that we're still only talking sort of between 3 and 4%. When it was, what, 18% at some stage, wasn't it, Greg? You remember those days?
I do. It's at a 45-year low, I think. So I don't think the market can sustain that for too much longer. No. I guess your tip then for the Melbourne Cup is a 25 basis points increase on Melbourne Cup Day. Is that what you're saying?
Pick viewed.
Pick viewed, right.
I reckon that's a Monty.
Right, okay.
But, and after that, yes, then look forward to an interest rate rise as well.
Fantastic.
Brocky, just quickly before we go to a break, there's just a couple of stats I've got in front of you. Unemployment's remained steady, which I think is extremely important. Yes, we have had a very small interest rate rise, but again, inflation's come down a little bit. I'm worried about the market overheating and everything else. I would have thought that put us in pretty good stead moving forward.
Well, unemployment's really interesting for me because 0.8% at the moment. But if you actually analyse it, 5% is actually full employment. When you take into account the people that are, in prisons or institutionalised or not in a position to actually
mates,
work.
Brocky? Is that what we're talking about?
I'm popping out to Yatala this afternoon. But when you look at the people who can't work, that makes up about 5% of the economy. So to have 5.8% is really still very low unemployment.
Yeah, because that was one of the concerns. If unemployment went up, people obviously find it a lot harder to repay the loans, and could have had an impact. But while unemployment stays at those nice low levels, again, our government's done a pretty good job. After the break here on Open House, we'll be catching up with Will Chapman, our financial services expert. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're enjoying it.